when Lan Zhan carries Wei Wuxian on his back,
Yeah,
I
okay,
just
I got
like that
that.
they're recalling like a memory from Lan Zhan is recalling like a memory from like all those years ago.
It was cute. I don't know how that passed censorship.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, like how did that slip through?
I mean, bros are allowed to piggyback each other.
He was injured, I guess.
He
That's
was poisoned.
acceptable.
He was cursed. If your bro is injured, you can piggyback him without it being gay. Hey guys, and welcome to Two Girls One BL podcast. Today we will be discussing episodes 31 to 40 of the BL series Untamed. So let's get right into it. Woohoo!
Wei Wuxian receives an invitation to Jinling's 1-month birthday celebration and begins preparing a bunch of gifts, including a bracelet that he made to repel low-level evil beings. While traveling with Wen Ying through Chongqi Path, they are ambushed by Jin Zushen, who accuses Wei Wuxian of cursing him with the 1,000 Holes curse. Despite Wei Wuxian's denials, Jin Zushen attacks. Wei Wuxian defends himself by controlling Wen Ying with his flute. The skirmish escalates, and Jin Xuan arrives to intervene. Unfortunately, Wen Ying, overwhelmed by resentment, kills both Jin Xuan and Jin Xuan. Different person.
And now they've both died, so it doesn't matter anymore.
I know. I shouldn't feel relieved, but I am a little bit. The news reaches the others at Golden Carp Tower, and Jiang Yanli is in despair. In the burial mounds, Wei Wuxian wakes up in a rage and blames Wen Ying for killing Jin Zushen. However, he then doubts himself and his choices made during the past year. Wen Qing then subdues Wei Wuxian with her needles and declares that she, along with Wen Ying, will turn themselves in. Although Wei Wuxian implores them not to do this, Wen Qing says her final goodbyes before leading the remaining Wen clan members to the Golden Carp Tower for their long-awaited execution. After breaking the effects of Wen Qing's needle, Wei Wuxian rushes to the Golden Carp Tower to see Jiang Yanli, but is quickly chased off. Lost and emotionally broken, he's consumed by resentful energy and storms into Nightless City, interrupting a ceremonial gathering of the other major sects. As the other leaders condemn him, a disciple shoots an arrow at him and Wei Wuxian starts attacking them, using his flute to unleash fierce corpses. Lan Wangji soon arrives, but fails in his attempts to get Wei Wuxian to listen to him. As chaos erupts, Jiang Yanli enters the battlefield searching for Wei Wuxian. She is then accidentally killed during an ambush meant for Wei Wuxian. Overcome with grief, Wei Wuxian kills the disciple who stabbed her. His body now racked with internal injuries from excessive use of resentful energy, Wei Wuxian breaks the Stygian iron seal to prevent it from being seized, scattering its pieces. At the edge of a cliff, Lan Wangji catches Wei Wuxian as he tries to fall, refusing to let him go. Zhan Cheng arrives, bitter and enraged, but ultimately doesn't kill Wei Wuxian. However, Wei Wuxian frees himself from Lan Wangji's grip and falls to his death. We time jump to 16 years later. Wei Wuxian awakens in cloud recesses and Lan Wangji's quarters, his soul having returned to life as a result of Mo Xuan Yu's self-sacrificing curse. The following morning, Wei Wuxian roams cloud recesses, reflecting on the past. While wandering past the cold springs, he spots Lan Wangji and notices his back is covered in whip scars. Curious, he asks Lan Wangji about them, but he refuses to answer. Lan Zishui and Lan Jinying rush over to report that the spiritual sword from the Mo village is out of control, prompting Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian to leave cloud recesses to investigate further. In town, and after some investigating, learns of rumors of a soul-devouring tower in Qinglu Ridge. At the ridge, Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji discover coffins inside filled only with swords. Jinling is found trapped inside a wall and is rescued. Outside, Lan Wangji chases a masked figure, while Wei Wuxian brings Jinling to rest in an inn after he discovers a curse mark on his leg. Later, Wei Wuxian is caught by Zhan Cheng. His true identity is revealed, and the two have a bitter confrontation. Jinling defends Wei Wuxian with a lie, pretending he doesn't believe it's really him. After Zhan Cheng leaves, Wei Wuxian and Jinling escape from the inn. To protect Jinling, Wei Wuxian absorbs the curse mark on his leg and lies to Jinling to get him to leave. Reuniting with Lan Wangji, Wei Wuxian lies about how he acquired the curse mark on his leg, which leads to Lan Wangji carrying an injured Wei Wuxian on his back. They head to the inn where Lan Wangji had chased the alleged culprit and discover it is Nai Huasang. The two, Wei Wuxian, as well under his Mo Xuanyu disguise, interrogates Nai Huasong, suspecting his involvement. He confesses the tower's haunting is linked to lingering resentments from the swords of deceased Nai sect members. After calming the sword spirit, Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji continue with their investigation. At an inn one day, the two overhear a group of men talking about the extermination of the Chang sect. Wei Wuxian also learns from Lan Wangji that Xiao Zhan had been blamed for the death of the sect's leader Chang Ping. Lan Wangji also informs Wei Wuxian that both Xiao Zhan and Song Lan had been missing for years. As Wei Wuxian pities both their fates, Lan Wangji gets equally emotional and drinks a cup of wine. Wei Wuxian brings a drunk Lan Wangji to their room and goes out to look for Wei Ying. When he realizes that Wei Ying's consciousness is sealed, he discovers two black nails in his head and pulls them out. Finally, Wei Ying wakes up and explains that he does not remember what happened after he and Wen Qing were discovered. The two are then interrupted by a drunk Lan Wangji, and after getting Wen Ying to hide, Wei Wuxian escorts Lan Wangji back to the inn, which follows a detour and which sees the two of them breaking into a small farm and Wei Wuxian being gifted chickens by Lan Wangji. When the two return to the inn, a masked person attacks them. Lan Wangji fights him, but the masked man uses a teleportation talisman to escape. The two then sit down to rest, and Wei Wuxian teases Lan Wangji with questions and ultimately learns the reason why Lan Wangji has been helping him since his return. The next morning, their paths lead them to Yi City, where they are enveloped in mist and encounter a group of young disciples who are night hunting together. The masked man then appears and Lan Wangji gives chase. The remaining disciples, along with Wei Wuxian, then encounter a mute, blind girl named Qing. Soon, they find Xiao Zhan apparently alive, but later revealed to be manipulated. A fight ensues when Song Lan attacks under compulsion. Wei Wuxian decides to use empathy to see Qing's memory, and the flashback of 10 years ago starts. He learns how Xiao Zhan and Qing took in a gravely wounded man, Xu Yang, without knowing his true identity. Over the years, Xu Yang deceived Xiao Zhan into killing innocent people by presenting them as enemies. Several years later, Song Lan arrives in town looking for his friend, but Xu Yang incapacitates him and severs his tongue, making Xiao Zhan unknowingly kill his own friend. Upon discovering the truth, Xiao Zhan commits suicide. Xu Yang, devastated, tries in vain to revive him. Back in the present, Xu Yang reappears, but is finally defeated, and the masked man appears again to take the halved Stygian iron seal from him before disappearing. Song Lan delivers the final blow, ending Xu Yang's tragic and twisted life. Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji give Xiao Zhan's soul and sword to Song Lan. Beneath the coffins, they find Nai Mingju's body, but missing his head, and then realize a deeper mystery is still unresolved. At a nearby town, the disciples walk around the night market, and Lan Zishui, upon seeing a toy paper butterfly, starts to recall faint memories of his childhood, while on the other hand, Wei Wuxian reflects on Yuan, the child he once raised. Later, the disciples wait at an inn while Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji meet with Xiao Zhan, who also quickly discerns Wei Wuxian's true identity. Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji then head to the Golden Carp Tower along with Xiao Zhan to continue investigating Nai Mingju's missing head and its connection to Jin Guanyao. At the banquet held by Jin Guanyao and his wife, Qin Su, Wei Wuxian continues disguising himself as Mo Xuanyu to avoid suspicion. Later, in Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian's room, Wei Wuxian uses his paperman spell to investigate Jin Guanyao's room. There, he overhears an argument between Jin Guanyao and Qin Su. He then follows them into a hidden room where Wei Wuxian discovers Nai Mingju's head. And that's where episode 40 ends.
Okay, so for me, in these 10 episodes, I would say episodes 31, 32, and the start of 33. Amazing episodes that are extremely hard to rewatch, and I found watching them really emotionally taxing. So I'm not sure it was like an enjoyable watch because it was really rough. I think the way that it's structured in the book is they'll give you a little bit of it and then they'll show you present times where it's not so emotionally taxing and rough, but then in the show it's just one hit after the other until Wei Wuxian
Mm.
dies, and I find that exhausting to watch because it's hours that you invest to watch like nothing good happen to him. So first of all, like you know that Wei Wuxian and Wenning are walking into the trap, but you can't do anything but just watch
Oh,
them
I
do it.
know. That was so awful. Oh my god, so
Yeah,
awful.
like life
I
is
like
so
I could
unfair.
tell. I actually that was one of my notes that I wrote was I knew something bad was going to happen, and a part of me was like, why didn't he just say no to going? You
Yeah,
know,
like, and
I
I think
just
he knew as well. Like he knew
yeah,
he was
for
walking
sure.
into something.
And I would say that these are my first notes are like on that whole scene like in Chongqi Path. I just said I was not prepared for what happened in that entire scene. I knew something bad was coming, but I didn't think it would lead to the deaths of two, I guess, bigger characters. And I have to admit,
Mm.
like Wen Ying's like eyes like really freaked me out in that scene as well. That was
Yeah,
creepy AF. It was sort of like because we opened the show with the present time, we kind of knew what was coming, and so it kind of felt worse watching it because it was kind of like, oh, we're getting finally to that bit. Oh, what's gonna happen? You know, and it's sort of that trepidation that you have before the shit comes, and so I think that's
yeah, and
also
the
what made it
tensions build
worse.
up so well.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I was a bit like you. A lot happens in them.
And then also like Wen Qing and Wen Ning like giving themselves up to go get executed. That was fucking rough. What the hell?
Well, their bodies
Hanging
hanging
from the
as well. Oh my god, that was horrible. Yeah.
But the show spent so many episodes building up like Wei Wuxian's found family. They make us like these people, like his new family, only to have them willingly give up themselves and their lives for Wei Wuxian, which is really touching. But it's also it's rough. It's cruel for us.
Again, I think we talked about this in the last episode. I was sort of, what was the point of it all? Like, it just
Maximum
felt.
hurt for us.
Well, Wei Wuxian kind of says that as well. He was, why have I spent the last year of my life doing this and like doubting himself? When that happened, I was like, oh my god, oh, this is rough.
It was just so grim. The imagery, like nothing was happy. Everything was like dark and I don't know. They built the tension really well for like a show that had such a low budget. That was very well done. And I said my comment was the only good thing in the first 3 episodes of this block of 10 was seeing Zhixun finally die.
No, but I gasped when Jin Su Xuan died, though.
Yeah,
Like when Ying like knifed him in the back and he like hit the ground. I was like, oh my god. Like I didn't expect this at
yeah,
all.
but also kind of mixed feelings because he's so annoying.
Yeah,
But they're also
right.
he's like Yen Li's husband.
But yeah, it just kept getting worse as well. Like
I know.
you're talking about the tension, also the whole like injustice of it all is, I think, another element that added to it. So much rage on behalf of Wei Wuxian, just being like flat out accused of all this stuff. The minute like he tries to defend himself, they're all like that surprised like Pikachu face, like like you're fighting back. Like how dare you?
And also, literally, no one defends him. I think that for me is what was really frustrating.
Other than Yanli, I did
But
write down, I said at one point I thought perhaps she had finally cut him off,
she
but
never.
I should have doubted her.
That's one of the comments I had, and that was in the character section, but I can say it here is that I really like that she never gives up on him. Even though he fucking knives her husband, but she still believes in him. And I think that was in short supply, like that kind of unconditional love for Wei Wuxian.
I don't think she ever thought that he was at fault for that though.
I don't know. I think that was what's interesting because we find out later that the reason why Wenning goes crazy is because there's a second flute in the background. No one else knows that, and still she believes that Wei Wuxian
That's true.
wouldn't
Yep.
do that. And that's just so sweet. You know, like you can only hope for someone to believe in you like that.
I actually
Yeah.
was really, really, really sad with her death because she's like the one constant that's always like stayed true to believing in him. So it was really sad actually.
I feel like she grounded him. For me, like I think all of that tension culminates in that one scene at the Nightless City where everyone's confronting Wei Wuxian.
I was so mad watching that. Fucking
It
hell,
was
that was
so
so
bad.
infuriating.
It
Oh
was
my
that
God.
was an experience, I would say. Like, it's just so rage inducing. But I'm glad that he stood up for himself. I don't know, like I don't like to rewatch those episodes. It makes me very emotional. Like it makes me angry. So I think this part is really interesting because the first half of this block of 10 episodes shows like Lan Zhan and his powerlessness in terms of being able to both stop Wei Wuxian from essentially self-destructing in his eyes, but then also like being able to protect and help Wei Wuxian. Like he tries, but he can't do shit because he doesn't know how. And that changes very significantly in the next half of these episodes where he's had like 16 years to think about how he fucked out and he knows what to do now. So I really like this block of 10 because you can see like massive character development in Lan Zhan's character. I would say I was a bit disappointed by the episode 34, that whole bit about like Lan Zhan discovering that Wei Wuxian was alive. For me, that was a bit of a disappointment because I kind of
Oh,
feel
okay.
like really underwhelmed. But him finding out that Wei Wuxian was alive is a moment that for me has been built up over 33 episodes. Like you from episode 1, once you realize what's going on, all you're waiting for is for Wei Wuxian to hit rock bottom, to come back, and then for Lan Zhan to like find out that he's not died and he's still there. And there's barely anything. Like for me, it wasn't the moment that I hoped for.
Okay.
I think
So
in the
you
book
would
it was
think-
closer.
I find that the moment that they reunite is really good, which was back in episode 2. But I think I know what you mean. Sort of, you were hoping for a little bit more of that right after that moment, and rather than him just like waking up and then having a real
And then that's
casual
it.
chat with Lan Zhan. It's been 16 years. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
it's 16 years,
years.
bro. What is your reaction right now? Give me something.
That's what bothers
Okay.
me. Is that I understand that Lan Zhan is like really
Repressed.
subdued. Yes, he's learned how to repress his emotions, but give me something. It wasn't satisfying. Whereas I almost feel like Jiang Cheng finding out that Wei Wuxian was alive is almost more
No.
impactful.
What? You're kidding. Okay, I have a note about that later on that I wanted to ask you.
Why don't you just say it now?
I just said, were you a little underwhelmed how John Chung found out about Wei Wuxian returning? I said it
Oh
felt
my
kind
God.
of anticlimactic to me, and it wasn't what I had envisioned.
It was a little bit, I think.
I found that way more
can't-
underwhelming than the Lan Zhan and Wei Wuxian reuniting.
I think compared to Lan Zhan and Wei Wuxian, like it didn't feel as underwhelming.
Wow. Okay. We think completely differently. Okay.
Yeah,
I was
because
so disappointed with how that went in the show with Zhang Cheng and Wei Wuxian. It was literally just like he took off his mask and Zhang Cheng was just like, you. And that was it. That's all we got.
No, but I think they had another conversation in the inn where he confirmed that it was Wei Wuxian.
I didn't like it. It wasn't. I thought it'd be a bigger moment of like realization on Zhang Cheng's side. I think that's why I find the Lan Zhan one okay, because they had like that moment in episode 2 where they were like staring at each other longingly, and Lan Zhan hears him playing like Wangxian the song, and so it had. I feel like it had those moments where with Zhang Cheng, it was literally just like he stared at him and he was like, it's you. And that was it. I found it really unsatisfying.
I thought Jiang Cheng was like more emotional than Lan Zhan was, which I mean, obviously because of his character.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was
He
was more satisfying for me. Like,
what? Oh
yeah,
my
because
God,
he actually
really?
responds to it. I don't feel like Lan Zhan. So after Lan Zhan finds out, Wei Wuxian doesn't even know he's found out. You know what I mean? Like it's been 16 years. I understand that you're repressed. You don't have to like make a big show out of it, but do something. It's just not enough for me.
I think the complete opposite. This is hilarious. Oh my God. That was like literally one of my first questions for you was this. And I've always thought that moment was really unsatisfying, actually.
I always thought that the Lan Zhan and Wei Wuxian moment was so bland.
I think you don't like it because it doesn't have the bits that immediately follow it after, like in the book, where he takes him back to cloud recesses and Wei Wuxian's like pulling all these like gay jokes and saying all this bullshit to get Lan Zhan to kick him out of cloud recesses and all that. And I think because it doesn't have that, I think you find it unsatisfying. Whereas for me, I watched the show first, and so that moment for me is sort of like how I view it, like that's how it was meant to happen. So I can see why you don't find it completely satisfying. But this is hilarious. Like I've never even thought that it was unsatisfying. I was more just sad that they couldn't add it in. Like, and I know why they
my
couldn't
issue
add
is
that
they
stuff
took
in.
it out. But they took it out and they never replaced it with anything. Like, so it works in the book because they don't, like, there's that whole bit and there's that understanding that Lan Zhan knows and Wei Wuxian doesn't. But they don't replace it with anything in the show. Like,
It's
replace
true.
it with another scene or something. Make it more impactful. But they keep it as it is. They just cut out the middle part.
Yeah,
And
like
that for
stuff's
me is
happen
like,
off screen.
it's so bland.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but like they definitely couldn't have done it because Wei Wuxian doesn't come back for one in a new body, so he's in the same body.
I mean,
so
technically he does. Technically he does. It's just that they did a really terrible job of showing it.
right,
But
yeah.
they could have done they could have done stuff that's like not gay, but still showed that Wei Wuxian
Okay.
is like pushing Lan Zhan. Like they did a whole library scene where Wei Wuxian was like teasing
like
Lan Zhan
antagonizing
with
him and
erotica and stuff. Yeah, there's other stuff they
okay.
could have done. So I think for me, like I knew that scene. I obviously read the book first, so I knew that scene existed. And so I spent like 33 episodes waiting for it. And then nothing came out of it. And it was just like,
so it's
okay.
stuck in your mind that it's been
knows.
unsatisfying. Okay.
It's just bland.
Okay. That's fair enough. I can see it. I don't feel that way personally, but I can see.
I think the order of watching and not watching makes a big difference. But oh my God, that whole bit, like in the whole book, is so good.
It's very funny. Yeah.
When he like lies on him.
Yes.
He lies on him and Lan Zhan like
immobilized.
I am okay with this. And then he's like, what the fuck?
Wait, which is like, I've literally done everything that he hates and he's doing nothing.
Why is he okay with it? He talks about how he's peeping at Lan Zhan while he's in the hot springs and like Lan Zhan's so okay with it. I feel like they could have included that. It's not gay.
Even the bit where before they even go to cloud recesses and Wei Wuxian's being like, I'm into Hangguan Jun and all that, and Hangguan Jun's like, okay, come back to cloud recesses.
Yeah! Exactly. Oh my God, that's so good.
It was a different vibe in the show. It was very like serious and longing in the show, and it didn't have that comedic funny element I think that you really enjoy from the book, because it would have just changed the whole mood of that scene, I think.
Well, Wei Wuxian's not supposed to know that Lan Zhan knows in the show either. But I think that in the show they didn't have time to deal with that, so they kind of have had them both look at each other longingly, whereas I don't think Wei Wuxian was that aware at the time.
No, that's why he keeps making that jokes. He's like, well, how is he going to know it's me? Yeah.
It's so good. Oh man,
it is.
If only. And then I had a comment on the ECD arc, so you don't really like it, but I like got stuff to say, so I'll get it out of the way in the general comment section.
Before you start, I will say that upon rewatching this last night, I have to admit it wasn't as painful. I just think it's too long. But anyway, go on.
I would say I fell in love with the ECD arc more on my rewatch. So, I love the Xue Yang, Xiao Zhan, and Song Lan arc. I just love it. A disclaimer before I go into it though is that the author has also come out and said that none of these characters' relationships are canon, and only Wei Wuxian and Lan Zhan's relationship is canon. So keep that in mind, I guess, as we talk about this. But I love their kind of like little relationship triangle, because I like how overly evil Xue Yang was and how they were so willing to show like Xiao Zhan being manipulated like that. And like there's such a massive difference between one person that's like wholly good and one person that's wholly evil. I don't know, that whole thing was just so interesting to watch. And the way that Xue Yang looks at Xiao Zhan, I know it's like he's like evil and tricking the guy, but when he dies, I found that really hot. I like Xue Yang as a character a lot. I think he's super hot.
I'm not judging.
I would watch a show with just the both of them as characters. Like that kind of dynamic.
Wow. Okay. I think my problem with Xue Yang is I didn't find there was any redeeming qualities in him at all.
No, there wasn't.
And that's what I don't like about him. I can't vibe with a character when they're just completely evil.
But they explain how he got there.
Yeah, no,
like,
but
I don't think he had a really good...
You know, like life is shit. Everyone has their own crap that they've got to go through. So I just don't think that's an excuse. But you feel more passionately about this.
I like it because he's evil because he's evil. Like there doesn't really need to be a reason why he's like that. It's just so interesting that he's like such an asshole.
I'm fine with evil characters, but I'm not going to like be interested in watching 3 to 4 episodes of just an evil character. I'm not interested in that. I don't know. I just don't vibe with it. I'm trying to like see your viewpoints. I'm just...
Okay. The part that I like the most out of this whole arc is when he causes Xiao Zhan to die, and then he like that period where he
Panics.
sits by his body and then slowly realizes that he's like actually killed him and there's no coming back, and he starts to like go mad. I
Right.
really like those dynamics. It's like he's gone fucked up, and he's now realizing that he likes this guy, but he can't go back
Oh.
to what it was, and like he's just has to suffer the consequences for it. I don't know. It's just so different, and I love it.
No, I find what he does just completely deplorable.
It is, and that's why it makes it hot for me. He's
Wow,
also so
okay.
cute.
That's what makes me not like it.
I don't know. If it maybe if like his character was super ugly, I probably wouldn't like it. But they've gone and choose like this super hot guy for it. I'm like, okay, well you do you. I'm just gonna watch it.
I genuinely, I'm interested why people like this, because watching the show, it was a drag, and then reading the book, it was brutal because it was like the first half of book 2. So I'm always curious to see why people enjoy this little arc.
I don't
I can't get
know.
into
I
it.
just really like that. I really like the dynamics. Just it doesn't have to end well, which it obviously doesn't. But then just when you put two people that are so completely different, one person that's like completely evil and one person that's like I would say completely good together, and how that plays out.
For me, I guess I can try and explain, because I was trying to like put words into why like I don't like this. And I think what I don't like about it is, for the most part, I feel like this little plot doesn't really revolve around the main characters, and so it just kind of feels random, like it's plunked in the middle of the story. Like we haven't actually seen these characters, if you exclude Songlan, we haven't seen these characters since like what, episode 10, 11 or something. So it's been
Mhm.
a long time. I think if any of the characters had made more appearances throughout the episodes, I don't think I would feel like this, to be honest.
Just like you don't care about them.
Yeah, like if they'd littered like some of their appearances throughout, like all like 0 to 40, like wherever we're up to now, I think I might feel differently about what's gone on. I might have been a bit more invested in what unfolded, but because we hardly see these characters, I'm not invested in them emotionally. So even though what happened to them was absolutely horrible to watch, I just like
I
when they
love
died,
watching
I was
it.
sort of like, can we move on now, please? Like, you know.
I think that's fair. I understand the randomness of it. I think I kind of get that. Not really like sort of baked well into the story.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. You need to have like teasers of it throughout for me to like emotionally give a shit about it. So
I
like kind of
understand
like
that.
what they did with like Yun Li's character. I don't feel like she was very involved in the book, but because they put her character here and there throughout like all these episodes, I was so sad when she was killed, because they'd emotionally built up her involvement in the story a bit more. Like she wasn't excessively in everything, but it was enough for me to sit there when she got killed and be like, oh my God, that's devastating. And so I was a bit more invested in her character. Whereas, you know, the Yi City stuff, it was sort of just like we literally have an
Out of
introduction of a
nowhere.
character that we haven't even had with that mute and blind girl, Ching. I haven't seen her at all, and she's just plonked in there in like episode 37 or 38 or whenever it comes. And I'm just like, we're
Like,
getting
why
to
do I
like the
care?
final rush of these episodes here. Perhaps it's sort of with the book, it makes a bit more sense because the plot came in like book 2, whereas in the show it's done chronologically.
I
So
think that's it.
perhaps
Actually,
that's
that
what it
makes
is.
sense. I think in book 2 is when this happens in the book.
Yeah.
And that does a pretty good job of like building up Lan
Mm,
Zhan and how he could relate with Songman, I think, in
true.
terms of
Yeah.
like losing their companion. So like it places a good a metaphor for how Lan Zhan was
Mm,
feeling not having Wei Wuxian for 16 years, thinking that he's
mm.
lost him. And so it makes sense towards the start, but it makes no sense to have it towards the end. I agree with that. It might be because I've read the book first again,
It could be
that it just
again,
makes
yeah.
sense to me.
I just the first time I watched it, I was like, what is happening here? We're already in a flashback for all these
Yeah.
episodes, like in 33, and now we're going back to another flashback of characters that we hardly know anything about. It just felt very random. As someone that didn't know anything about the world at all, I was just like, what is the point of this? You know, like you could definitely do this in one episode. So I've tried. I don't want to just say I hate it just because I hate it. I'm trying to understand sort of what the point
That's
of it
fair.
all was. People like their own things, so that's cool as well. But yeah,
Yeah, that triangle is really popular.
I know.
Yeah,
That's what I don't
it
get.
fits. But I actually really see where you're coming from in the sense that even if they wanted to draw a line, like a line of comparison between Lan Zhan and Wei Wuxian and Songlan and Xiao Zhan, they didn't need to do it over such a long arc. Like, it was long.
You specifically like Shoyang, basically.
I like the relationship development between Xue Yang and Xiao Zhan. I like seeing a super good character kind of win over the evil character, but this evil guy obviously like is taking it all for granted until it's too late.
That's fair enough. I
Yeah.
don't completely,
I like the
completely
groveling.
see it, but okay.
You know that wife chasing trope, right? There are some
you love
novels
that.
there's some novels where the person who fucks up doesn't grovel, but they suffer because the consequences
Okay.
are irreversible. And I think this is
Yeah.
an example of it. I love this trope.
Okay. Yeah, it's like your favorite thing.
In terms of characters, first one is beloved Zhang Cheng.
Oh my
So-
god, we just honestly, are we like slightly obsessed with Zhang Chang at this point?
He's such an interesting character though, because like
He really
he's
is.
annoying and he gets on my nerves, but I don't hate him.
I can't fully hate him.
In saying that, my note said, deep breaths. I need to remember that he's just lost his parents, his clan, and now his sister, and even the friend that he thought Wei Wuxian was always going to be. But
Yeah.
he's annoying and abrasive pre-time skip, and somehow after the time skip, he's even worse. That's my comment.
How does he do that? How does he get worse?
How? He gets worse though, doesn't he?
I could see why though. He's probably been
Ugh.
sort of like Lan Zhan. He spent 16 years just like seething in his hatred, and it's just manifesting into just the thought of Wei Wuxian just gives him an angry tick, you know? He
But
gets
do you
triggered.
think it's just hatred? Because I feel like there's regret.
No, I think there is too, but he can't show it because he would
No.
have to admit that he missed him and perhaps he
Loved him.
handled things poorly as well. I don't think it's complete hatred, but that's the only emotion that he can comfortably display.
The fact that he was like obsessed with testing people being possessed with his purple whip shows that like he was obsessed with trying to prove that Wei Wuxian was alive. I think it shows his true emotions in that he actually wants Wei Wuxian to be alive and he misses him and he regrets all that action. And you can kind of see that with how he treats Wei Wuxian after he does find out that he's alive as well. That's not how you would treat someone if you truly hated them.
I don't know, because that hops back to this scene like you're talking about, sort of when they're reunited. I felt it was so underwhelming for me, and all the stuff that he was spewing in that scene just got me so angry because he was what was one of them when it was he was talking about how dare you say that to Jinling about like, you know, he's lost his
Oh my god!
who has
so
no
actually,
parents,
what
and I was
he
like, how
says
the fuck does he meant to know that's Jinling? You know what I mean? I was like, come on.
I know.
Like, you can't hold that over him, Zhan Tang. Like, you're scraping the bottom
I
of the
know.
barrel here.
I think the actual phrase is like it's rough. Like it's meant to make the viewers feel like, oh, holy shit. It was like way over the line to even say that to anyone, much less obviously Jingling, because the direct translation is you have a mother to birth you, but you don't have a mother to raise you.
Is that what Wei
but the
Wuxian said?
That's what he said.
Okay, that's pretty.
It's
that's
fucked up.
That's pretty nasty.
It's pretty.
Actually.
It's really bad. But the thing is, the mother is his sister. I think that's the part that's like really fucked up.
I could see why Wei Wuxian did the whole like when he realized it was.
Yeah, he felt so bad. He slapped
Fair
himself.
enough.
It's so funny.
Fair enough. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay.
I think the
that's fair
translations
enough.
maybe didn't do
Okay.
it justice. Yeah.
No, definitely not. I don't remember what it was in the translation. It was
I
definitely
don't think
not
it was
that
that
bad.
It's that bad in Chinese. It's really bad.
Okay, yeah, that's not very
Yeah.
nice. But at the same time, I hate that Zhan Chang also blames Wei Wuxian for being the reason why Jinling gets picked on as well. Like, what the fuck's that got to do with Wei Wuxian? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. In my opinion, Jiang Cheng is the reason why Jingling
yeah,
gets picked on.
I wrote that. I said, perhaps take a look in the mirror, bro.
Well, he doesn't see how abrasive his own personality is.
I just get so frustrated with Zhan Chang, and then I pause and I go, yeah, but this happened, and then that happened as well. Maybe I'm being unfair. And then we just go into another rant of, but he did this as well, and he said that. It's just like a really bad cycle.
Honestly, like I know people like Jiang Cheng in real life, and the only way you can deal with them is to, one, remember that they actually have good intentions and that somehow they can't say that out loud, and two, just sort of let everything they say like go over your head. That's the only way you can stay sane around people like that.
I don't know how Wei Wuxian. He just like sort of brushed it off. He
Because he
joked.
knows what Jiang Cheng's like underneath it all. In that, I think
Mm.
he knows that Jiang Cheng likes him. Like, I think if you take out everything that Jiang Cheng says and you just look at his actions, it's really not that bad. He doesn't even really kill Wei Wuxian. He
Oh,
can't bring himself to.
wait. Can we go into the cliff scene?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh
And all
my
I
God.
can think of is the budget version, which is hilarious. Wei Wuxian, 你去死吧!
Wei Ying.
Wei Ying. It's also the accent. Wei Ying. And then Jiang Cheng, 你去死吧!
You know what? I don't know if this is true, so take it with a grain of salt. But the shots of Lan Zhan seeing like Wei Wuxian like falling off the cliff, like they're insane, like really emotional. But now I can't help but remember something that I read for that scene. I read that the director instructed YiboW basically to picture one of his motorbikes being tossed off the cliff. So visualize that and then visualize that and then act out the scene basically. So when I see that scene now, I can't help but laugh a little bit.
It's funny if you think that that's what he was thinking while he was filming it. It must have been really awkward because like there's not actually anyone hanging there, I'm sure.
Yeah. Let's go back to the cliff scene. So for starters, we'll start with Zhan Chang because we're already on Zhan Chang. I think the moment that made me truly, I don't want to say hate because it's a strong word, but dislike Zhan Chang was when Wei Wuxian was like falling off the cliff, like he'd already fallen. And he basically, Zhan Chang has like no reaction to like losing his brother. And if anything,
and he walks
sort of
away.
Like well, he does like a smirk and then walks away, sort of like shaking his head. Oh, that really made me angry.
I had peak Jiang Cheng hate at that moment.
Oh,
I would agree with you.
I was feeling emotional for like Lan Zhan, and then I saw Zhan Chang like that, and I was like, "Fuck you, like really, fuck you." Oh my god, yeah. I literally, I was just like, wow, Zhan Chang's really lost all his redeeming qualities just in this one scene alone.
I really hated him.
Makes my blood boil, this scene. Oh my god. I'm getting worked up just thinking about it.
I don't think Yanli dying is enough of a reason for him to act like that.
Agreed.
Especially when Yanli never blamed Wei Wuxian.
That was another thing that pissed me off when Yanli was dying. She was looking like for him and she was like reaching out to him and Wei Wuxian comes closer and Zhan Chang like pushes him away, like get away kind of thing. And I'm like, fuck you, Zhan Chang. How dare you? That really annoys me as well. So it was not a good few scenes for Zhan Chang.
No, I think to the rest of
episode.
the episode, honestly, to like episode 48 or 49, Zhang Cheng, it's not great. Like he's very annoying to watch.
I'm getting annoyed just thinking about him right now. Maybe we need to take a break.
Okay, do you have any other notes on the cliff scene?
I
think it's for our mental health. We should. Let's talk about happier stuff.
Well, they're not really. They're kind of, these ones are little moments within like the cliff scene. It's sort of the pleading look from Lan Zhan as like he can see like Wei Wuxian standing like on the edge of the cliff and saying like, Wei, come back. And also Wei Wuxian's reaction to realizing he's not falling down and looking up and being shocked that it's Lan Zhan like holding him. I'm like, I remember watching that and just being like, wow, he's really oblivious
to Lan Zhan's feelings.
Yeah, like, goddamn, you know, like really oblivious.
But Lan Zhan is like horrible at expressing it. From his perspective, Lan Zhan's standing on the other side.
But that's what I said. What the fuck was Lan Zhan trying to do though? Like when he comes into the scene, like when like all the fighting's going on, I was just like, he came in like ready to attack essentially. And I was like, why is he shocked that Wei Wuxian's not listening to him when you approach him that way? Like, what did he think was going to happen?
He just doesn't
got
get
the sword at his face.
I was really frustrated with Lan Zhan at this part.
Yeah, he didn't handle it well.
And that's what makes the whole thing so good, is that he learns. But we have to experience this side of Lan Zhan first, which is, you know, he means well, but from Wei Wuxian's perspective, you're not helping at all.
I actually had a question because this sort of scene is done a little bit differently from the book to the show. And so I'm curious, do you prefer this section of the story that was in the book, or do you like how the TV show handled it better? Because I feel like in the TV version, there's a bit more of a definitive answer of what happened to Wei Wuxian, whereas in the book, it comes across as quite ambiguous, like what happens, and along with Wei Wuxian being a bit of an unreliable narrator in this part as well, and him, when we find out later, kind of he loses his memory a little bit based on what was in the novel as well. So I'm just curious, like, do you like how they handled it in the show, or are you sort of like, I wish they did it a bit more like the book?
I much prefer the book.
Like everything?
I generally prefer the book, but I think for this moment of like him kind of dying, because he does die in the book, and that his body's never found, and his soul gets transferred over to Wuxian's body. Whereas in the show, it's just not clear. Like that part's not clear, and I think it's intentional because of censorship. I like it in the book, but it just makes sense.
But the thing that I think I like about the show better is that Lan Zhan is there when basically like Wei Wuxian dies, whereas in the book he's kind of locked away in cloud recesses and he's not there like when Wei Wuxian dies. That's my memory of the book. Maybe I've got it wrong, but
I think Wei Wuxian does fall off the cliff with Lan Zhan there as well. Like that big moment still happens, but then there's more after that.
I really need to read the book again.
Show, in the book, Lan Zhan goes back to Burial Mound, and they don't show that in the show. So I think the book talks more about how.
But I didn't even think the cliff scene happened in the book. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong.
Because you might have to cut this out because I might be completely wrong, but I think there's a scene of Lan Zhan like looking for Wei Ying in the novel because he fell off the cliff. But I don't know if like the actual scene happened. Based
on my memory, I'm only saying this just because of the explanation that Xiao Zhan gives to Wei Wuxian. Yeah, afterwards. This is in the book, sorry, that he gives this explanation because he's kind of annoyed with Wei Wuxian a little bit when he's giving this monologue. And he's basically saying like, how do you think you got out of Nightless City? It was Lan Zhan that transported you from Nightless City to the burial mounds.
He brought him home.
He brought him back, yes. And then I think Xiao Zhan and Lan Zhan brought Lan Clan members to find them. And then Lan Zhan like injured all of them defending Wei Wuxian basically. And then he was brought back to Cloud Recesses for his punishment. So he wasn't actually there when Wei Wuxian died, but when he heard Wei Wuxian had died, he got out of Cloud Recesses and went back to the burial mounds. That's my memory of it. I could be completely fucking wrong and just have forgotten everything. As I said, I need to read the book.
That's the scene I remember. That's the one that while you were reading the book, I accidentally spoiled you, which was, I said I love the scene of like Lan Zhan carrying Wei Wuxian through the woods, through the burial mound woods to bring him home.
So you mean in the book?
That's the scene I remember in the book.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't exist in the show.
Not in the show, yes.
But I think the show is more dramatic, obviously, with like Wei Wuxian falling in front of Lan Zhan's eyes.
And it's a lot less ambiguous
like, not knowing
as well.
For sure if he's died. Yeah. But the whole like him coming back in the same body thing, that just kind of spoils it for me.
In terms of what?
In the book, it's that whole whether or not he's actually died, because it's not as clear. Whereas in the book, it's really clear, like he's died.
Yeah.
It's just that his soul
I get what you
was
mean.
Summoned back
yeah.
in the book.
Yeah.
In another body. Yeah. So
yeah, I get what you mean.
They're pros and cons.
Yeah, and the thing is that how else were they going to do it in the show, really, unless they got another actor? So.
Maybe a different outfit at the minimum. A different hairstyle, maybe. I don't know. Maybe a different accent color. You can still wear black. Doesn't need to be red. Could be pink. Could be white. Could be red. No, could be blue. Don't know. Anything but red. Maybe even like a different shade of red. I had one more comment on Lan Zhan. It kind of goes back to, again, his plot development, because I fucking love how his character evolves from what we were saying earlier, like being kind of a hypocrite. Yes, he has feeling for Wei Wuxian, but he doesn't know how to express it, and he's not willing to give up his affiliation with his clan for Wei Wuxian. But then I think it's like episode 36 for me. It was such a big moment. It's when they were in the quiet room, and Wei Wuxian standing at the door looking at the snow, and Wei Wuxian says everything was his fault and Lan Zhan has nothing to do with it. And Lan Zhan finally says that he's helping Wei Wuxian because he regrets not standing on his side on the day that he died.
Oh, you mean the whole drunk Lan Zhan scene?
The what? Drunk Lan? No. Not that scene. It's another scene where Lan Zhan's like he's like playing the ting. Wei Wuxian's just like standing outside on the balcony reminiscing about his past and how he's got to wait. He is. It's a really tiny moment. I don't know necessarily if it would have like created an impression on you, but it was just for me like that was such a romantic moment in that Lan Zhan just come out and said that he regrets not helping
But
Wei
he only
Wuxian when
said
he died.
he only says that though in the drunk scene. He doesn't say it any other
No,
time.
he did. No, but he wasn't drunk at the time. He was like playing the qing for Wei Wuxian.
I don't think he says that because I would have remembered that.
He said it in episode
Sure?
36. This is not the drunk scene.
Because the only time he ever says that it shows his regret to Wei Wuxian was when he was drunk.
What about the? Oh, is it? It's not the scene where he goes out and like gets the chicken. It's a different scene because that's at the inn with the disciples. This is in the quiet room.
I have no idea what scene you're talking about. Yeah.
It's snowing outside, and Wei Wuxian's like standing on the balcony, and Lan Zhan's indoors.
Yeah.
And Wei Wuxian talks about how it's not Lan Zhan's fault and everything is
That's
his
literally
own
the
fault.
drunk scene. I'm not kidding. What are you talking about now? I'm so confused.
No,
You'll have to bring
so
the scene out.
for me, the drunk scene is when they're in the inn with the disciples.
Yeah, I know, because I've got a whole section on it. That's where he says
No, but that scene, the other scene, they're in the Lan clan.
they're not even at Cloud Recesses in episode 36 though, because this is what notes I've got them by episode.
Really? I have it for me like
Yeah.
they're in. It's the same setting as when Wei Wuxian speaks to Xiao Zhan.
Yeah,
It might not be episode 36.
That's
then.
episode 40 something.
Oh fuck! Are you serious? Really?
What you're describing is what happens in like after Zoljun's like done his monologue and telling Wei Wuxian like what happened to Lan Zhan all these years that he was dead.
Was that episode 40 something? So I had it in my notes as like episode 30
'Cause
something.
They
Maybe
don't
it's
go back
46, not
to
36.
Cloud Recesses until after Wei Wuxian gets stabbed in episode 42. I don't know why I know that, but I do. So they're only in Cloud Recesses in episode 33, and then they go to investigate the spirit sword. So they're not
Oh no,
even
my
in
notes
Cloud
might be messed
Recesses.
up then.
I'm so baffled what you're talking about. I'm like, is there a scene that I don't know of? I'm like getting a little bit excited. I'm like, oh my God, content I haven't watched. Yeah, because I love that moment as well, but I've got it as like when he's like drunk.
No, the one where like Wei Wuxian says it's not your fault. I don't think he says it when he's drunk.
I could read it now. I said, what I love was the more serious moment where Wei Wuxian asked Lan Zhan why he's been helping him since he returned, and Lan Zhan reveals the regrets he had by not standing by his side all of these years ago. And Wei Wuxian responds by saying, none of it was your fault.
Oh, so that's the drunk scene. No, but okay, might be another scene that I'm thinking about.
I think so. Because when you're
They're
talking about like the
they're
snow,
definitely in the Lan clan.
yeah. I think that happens like episode 44 or 45 or something. Yeah, that's. I think it sounds like that scene.
And I know. It's after he's needed to escape from the carp tower.
Yeah.
So it's
that's episode
literally
44.
right after. Okay. Okay,
Oh,
well,
you're
we have
getting
to delete this entire section.
You're getting me so excited. I was like, oh my God, is there a scene that I don't know?
No, unfortunately not. Okay, anyway, we can move on to moments now.
When Lan Zhan carries Wei Wuxian on his back,
Yeah, okay, I got
like
that.
they're recalling like a memory from like, well, Lan Zhan is recalling like a memory from like all those years ago.
It was cute. I don't know how that passed. Censorship.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, like how did that slip through?
I mean, bros are allowed to piggyback each other.
He was injured, I guess.
He
That's
was
acceptable.
poisoned. He was cursed. If your bro is injured, you can piggyback him without it being gay.
If you get caught piggybacking your friend, just say he's injured.
Then it's not gay. That's just straight. No homo.
I don't know if you've noticed it, but when he's like carrying him on his back and there's like a side shot of them, you can see them laughing. Wang YiboW
Really?
and Xiao Zhan. Yes. I don't know. I really like that moment. It's a really cute moment. It's a really small moment as well.
I like it. It's small, but it's memorable.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, just on the drunk scene, I have stuff to add. I
Okay.
have a bit of an Easter egg that I don't know if it's an Easter egg, but for me it is. Just that when Lan Zhan was drunk, he gifted Wei Wuxian those 2 chickens, right? in
I was
the
going to ask
backyard.
you about that. Is that symbolic for something?
Yes, so
Okay.
generally 2 chickens, traditionally a rooster and a hen, they're given to the bride's family, given by the bride's family to the groom's family, and it symbolizes like a blissful pairing and a
Okay.
prosperous future for the couple. So it's like a wedding tradition.
Ceremony.
And I think that it was intentional. He gave Wei Wuxian 2 specifically. Yeah, I think it's intentional. But with this kind of stuff, there's no way to know if they did it intentionally or not.
I would say It probably was. I think they were trying any way they could to put like little elements of this in because of the amount of other stuff that they had to leave out.
I have another Easter egg.
Go for
I
it.
think this is intentional. So, you know, in the novel, one of the most famous phrases is every day means every day, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes,
yeah.
of course.
So in Chinese, the phrase is 天天就是天天. So 天天 means every
Okay.
day.
Yeah,
天天
every
就是
day.
天天. There's a moment in episode 36 where Wei Wuxian is like in the crowd, in the market, and he tells Lan Zhan, 一点点就是一天, 一点点.
Is that like when he's saying a little bit is a little bit or
Yes.
something like, yeah, okay, yeah.
It's a pun. Like it sounds the same.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it has to be intentional.
Because
I think it's a little Easter egg that they threw into the script.
The fact that I know what you're talking about, because I remember hearing him say that, and I'm like, why is he saying it like that? It just felt very odd and random in the scene, but now that you're mentioning that, I think you're right. I think that's probably intentional.
Because that is one of the most famous lines from the novel.
Oh,
obviously.
of course. Yes. Can't forget that
Yeah,
one.
so I thought that was cool. Like when I heard it, I was like, oh, what's that? Why did he say
They
that?
100%
How did that
knew
pass?
that. I've seen a behind the scenes clip of the production crew and YiboW and Xiao Zhan like talking about that line. 100%
really?
I've heard. Yeah. Someone saying every day means every day. Yeah. So they're very much
It's such an
aware of
iconic line.
yeah. They're very much aware of it, I would say.
Well, the 一点点就是一点点 is like such a obvious, blatant one.
Anyway,
I don't know.
I love these section of scenes. And I like, as I was saying before to you, I said, yes, there are a lot of funny moments, but the thing that I liked the most about this scene was the serious moment where Wei Wuxian realizes why Lan Zhan's been helping him. He's talking about like how he has those regrets. And then Wei Wuxian being like, none of it was your fault. It didn't involve you and all that. I think that was the best moment of all of the shenanigans that went down.
Yeah, I don't think they have a lot of heart-to-heart talks, actually.
No,
Like,
that's
a lot
a good
of
point.
it's just
Yeah,
implied.
there were a lot of good like funny moments, but to me, this one was it's something that I prefer to go and rewatch. Yeah, and him like describing his name like Lan Wangji was here and
Vandalism. It's cute. That's cute. I have a moment from that episode, different scene, but it's in the E City.
Oh yeah.
E
What do
City
you
arc.
mean?
It's right before they separate. They travel together, and then obviously the masked man appears. Lan Zhan asks Wei Wuxian if he knows him, and then Wei Wuxian says no, and he believes in him immediately. It was such a throwaway moment, but for me,
yes.
it was such a good sign of like that
Trust,
unconditional
yeah,
trust
between the two.
between the both of them.
I was gonna make that note, but I thought it was like such a small little like element that I didn't include it in my notes. But I know exactly what you're talking about because he's like Lan Zhan like looks at him like, "Do you believe me?" Basically, yeah.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
and then Wei Wuxian's like, "Yeah, like."
I think the theme of my comments is always like the evolution of the trust between their relationships, because I think for me like that's the best part about these episodes. So that's why I had it in one of my notes. I was like, oh, that's really sweet.
I think it was a similar comment to what you just said there, and it was later on when they're in the Golden Carp Tower, or however you say it, or leading up to it, when they get to that town before then, they buy that lantern with the rabbit on it.
Yeah.
And like Lan Zhan like smiles at Wei Wuxian. Oh, that was so cute. I thought
It was
really
cute. They got some cute moments.
There's quite a lot of cute moments. That's why I forgot to pick out my favorite moments, actually. So the next notes I had were sort of like the last episode. I think this is where my frustration with Xiao Zhan started, because they come to that town and they meet with him. I just said this is the start of Xiao Zhan being dumb as fuck. How much more evidence do you need to realize whose fault it is? I will give him credit though, because it's not like he just dismisses everything. Like he doesn't mind that Lan Zhan and Wei Wuxian are continuing to investigate what's going on.
And he helps. He helps them too.
He does. And he's also like, yeah, you should come along to Golden Carp Tower when we're going there and do what you need to do and all that. So I can't hate him, even though it is the start of him being
It's frustrating.
irritating. But I also love that Xiao Zhan like immediately figures out that it's Wei Wuxian that's there, because it's kind of implied like
one friend.
Yeah, like why would Lan Zhan be hanging out with anyone else, you know?
Yeah. I mean, not even like a relationship. He literally only has one friend. Yeah, he just knows him so well.
He's never bothered to hang out with anyone else anyway. And then the last kind of few notes I had were, okay, the paper like talisman that Wei Wuxian does. That was fun to
I have a
watch.
note on that too.
I have to admit, that was really fun to watch. And this was the one moment I remember laughing out loud. And it was when he, like his soul or however it works, goes into the talisman or whatever. And Wei Wuxian flies up onto the Lan Zhan's head.
Oh,
and
yeah, I have that
pulling
note
on
as
his
well. It's
headband.
so cute. Oh, man.
I
And
love
Lan Zhan's like
that.
so okay with it. He's just like,
like when you were talking about sort of like his character development and just Lan Zhan's like an unamused expression, but the new him basically just takes it on. Like he's like, okay, get on with it now, you know. And
stop playing.
the old
Yeah.
the old him would have just been like so irritated and so annoyed, and he was sort of just like, okay, let's get a move on. And I'm like, oh.
He's willing to put up with his shit. Yeah.
Yeah, letting him like have his like fun moment, you know. I just love that. It was such a small moment as well, but
Oh, I have that too in my moments. And I also had like, thank God that the CGI wasn't too bad in that scene. Like it was actually really tolerable.
yeah, I agree, because I remember you asking me like, because I didn't particularly find the CGI that problematic like you did, and this was one of the things that I pointed out, saying like I didn't mind how they did it. I don't know, it was really cute. I really enjoyed watching that whole
Me too.
section.
I agree. It was very cute. I'm glad that they kind of kept that part. I think what you said, what you pointed out, which is the difference in Lan Zhan's reaction with Wei Wuxian playing with his headband, is very telling. One more note before we finish off, I guess. And this goes all the way back to when Wei Wuxian and Lan Zhan and Lan and Zhou Jun, like they come to Cut Tower. But for me, like it was very satisfying to watch him enter with the Lan clan, because it almost
Right.
looks like he married into the family.
A little bit, yeah.
And like Jiang Cheng's there, he's like, what the fuck? But it literally looks like this guy's already married into the family. Like he's accepted by the brother-in-law. He comes in under the Lan clan. That was just such a good moment. I love that.
It was.
Thanks for joining us as we discuss episodes 31 to 40 of The Untamed. And so we will be discussing episodes 41 to 50 next time, which is literally the last 10 episodes. See you next time. So awkward. End it. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Thanks for tuning in to Two Girls and One BL podcast. If you enjoyed our discussion, don't forget to subscribe to us and leave us a comment.
We'd also love to hear your thoughts, so follow us on socials, YouTube, and Spotify at Two Girls One BL podcast. See you next time.
Bye.
Dun, ding.